to say confuse, because one of the whole purposes of this is to confuse the shooter. They have it in their mind that this is something is going to go down in a way that they have walked through it or whatever, or played video games to train for, yes, the fantasy, thank you, that's a word I was looking for. And I think that confusing the shooter by some form of active resistance, no matter what that is, I think that's an excellent idea. And at minimum, I would encourage all of you to be taking that acronym back to your school boards, to your administrative staffs, because I think this is something that is very seriously needing to be done, because it is more reactive than it is hunker down and hide. It doesn't work.
You sure could.
Yeah, I looked at all the Alice materials too this last summer as the next quiver, or next arrow in our quiver of protection. It's really, really good. If you think about the evolution of school protection in light of our counterculture today, it used to be just turn off your lights, put the kids in the corner, hide, wait for your turn. Alice presented very well organized materials. It basically can be summarized now. The strategy is run, hide, or fight. Alice puts that all together in a little bit more detail, and again, not sequential. Whatever is best for your students, that's what you do first. So it's really great material. So I've looked at that as a very important step in school security. Obviously, I've looked at a lot of what Kevin's organization has to do. I think I've viewed every one of his video clips, and it's always also well done. So there's a lot to do here. So we're talking about another very important step in school security.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that too. Our high school, Shoreland Lutheran in Kenosha, just recently had the participation of the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department. They are in the county, but they also had the Kenosha City Police, and together they went through a whole day of tactical response and used airsoft guns and things like that. So they trained the staff how to react and how to do their best to keep the students safe. And talking to the different teachers, they said it was quite amazing. I mean, there was several instances where they, did what they thought they were supposed to do, and the gunman got through the door and shot many of the people in that room, they were all staff people. So they said it was a real live, situation, and they said it was really beneficial to go through.
To actually see it in action. Sir, go ahead. Your first name, where you're from?
My name is Eric. I'm from Germantown. Kevin, just to answer the question, another point on the training, my 400 hours of LESB certification, 40 hours of that was firearms training, and the majority of that was the technical side of the gun. Same thing as Kevin pointed out. My certification said, can I hit this target 25 times within a 2-inch circle, and I get 5 minutes of rest between each one. Bulk of my work and training was how to deal with people, just like Kevin, even though I am also LESB certified. With me today are my 2 most prized possessions. Actually brought my children with me today. These prized possessions on a daily basis, I give to Mr. Moss. I don't like the fact, and Sergeant Sheriff will also know that, I don't like the fact that when I turn them over to Mr. Moss or their other teachers at Morningstar, they have no way to protect my children. And I say that in a fashion, I say that because we know in law enforcement that if someone has a gun and is pointing at us, the only safe place is out of line of sight behind cover, not concealment. In a classroom, there is no cover. Desks are not covered. Closet doors are not covered. If the guy enters the classroom, Mr. Moss has to be within 2 feet of this guy to disarm him. within 21 feet, if he has a knife, Mr. Moss is dead. If he's got a gun, if he's within line of sight, unobstructed by cover, Mr. Moss is dead. Then my children are too. Not something I'd like to see. I appreciate Representative for putting this bill forward for the parochial and private schools. I think it's it's a small step. I think it's a great step. I can't wait to see Governor Walker sign it. Hopefully, those of you in public school will also have the same privilege, advantage of protecting teachers and the students.
We'll do a race to who gets to the mic first. That's how it's going to work. Put your running shoes on.
I don't think my name matters, but Steve Anderson from Hartford. I just had a quick question. It sounds like it's already outside the realm of the forum from what Jeff said, but if you could just spend at least a couple seconds on why is this only a private school bill at this time? Why not all schools? I came late to the forum. I didn't know about this till last week, so I don't know much about it. I just wondered why the separation of the two bills is. If you could address it without getting too far off on your goal, which I know is to assume the bill is already passed.
So, the primary reason is political. We want to get something done, but we don't know that we can get it all done right away. And it is a much easier lift on the parochial and private school end because there is, quite honestly, a lot more interest from the parochial and private school end. And there are not entities out there lobbying interests who will try to defeat this, just because they want to. So if we can get one done, I mean, we're going to roll both of them out. If we get one done and not the other, hopefully next session we get the other. They will probably be coming out simultaneously. There won't be a sister bill coming out simultaneously.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tom David. I'm Vice President of the New Berlin School Board. I had the opportunity to work with Senator Lazich the last time this bill came up last session. I also testified for Representative Clayfish's committee in 2013 when Assembly Bill 9 was put forth, so I've done a significant amount of research on this issue. I think what's important to understand, and I know that some of these questions had come up, the Gun-Free School Zone Act in Wisconsin was implemented prior to concealed carry being passed 5 years ago. The issue is not that Wisconsin changed it, it's just it wasn't adjusted previously. So we always had this Gun-Free School Zone Act for Wisconsin, even though U.S. Code, 18 U.S. Code 922 is the federal Gun-Free School Zone Act. As Representative Kramer mentioned, it does allow concealed carry permit holders to have firearms on school property, not in the buildings, but on the property. And that Gun-Free School Zone Act was passed by Herb Cole. Herb Cole was the main sponsor of that. So what we're seeing here is that, and I'm also a firearms instructor as well, what we're seeing here is that we need to basically just fix our legislation to match the federal legislation that's already existing. Senator Wongard last year, in passing legislation or proposing and subsequently passing legislation to allow off-duty and former law enforcement officers to carry on school grounds, which they used to be able to do, but then Act 35 actually took that away. So he said, no, we just need to fix some parts of the concealed carry legislation. I think what we're seeing here is this is just simply fixing parts of the concealed carry legislation so that we bring the Wisconsin Gun-Free School Zone Act just up to speed with what many other states are doing as well. And I think this would be the first step to just making a small adjustment to fix the legislation currently existing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Kramer, panelists. Currently, I'm a professor at the University of Wisconsin Marshfield, and it's a rural campus, obviously, and as a result, we don't have an officer on campus grounds, unlike schools such as Milwaukee and Madison, perhaps, which actually have that luxury. So as a result, the majority of students I teach actually support some form of campus carry. Now, the question I have for Senator Kramer in regards to his bill is there a what rights do students have, for example, in carrying carrying a weapon, for example, with them if they have a CW license on building grounds, for example, versus, let's say, the interior of the classroom? Is there a difference between the two? How's your bill address that? And second of all, what does your bill state about the rights of college students and interior campuses versus four-year campuses, rural, urban areas too as well? Can you address that perhaps?
Doesn't matter.
This bill today is just a K-12 bill.
Okay.
Actually, 1 through 12.
The bill that we rolled out a year ago, now it's a college bill.
Okay.
That will be coming back.
Okay, good.
We'll be having that discussion again. Actually, if you're interested, Monday night, UW-Madison, there's going to be a discussion on this between myself and Representative Taylor and some students there on
Right.
Monday night at Madison.
Well, thank you very much.
Morning. My name's Joe Robinson. I live here in West Bend. I have 3 kids here at Kettle, Moraine, Lutheran. And so Wisconsin, much like with the concealed carry bill, concealed carry came to Wisconsin late. We were the next to last state to pass it. I have a 4-digit permit, just to say. But this is also, it seems we're a little bit behind. There are already some states who allow K-12 schools to have concealed carry in schools or allow the schools to dictate that. I think we have Alaska, Arkansas, Rhode Island, even California to a degree allows it, although no any ammunition there. Vermont, Maine, I mean, there's several states that already do it. Can any of you speak to the experience that people are having with other states and whether there have been any negative consequences to allowing it?
The most recent state to pass the law was Texas, and it was based on rural school districts with such a long response time for police officers to get out there. At this point right now, we track true stories from around the country, and we have no input whatsoever that there have been violations from teachers who are carrying concealed on campuses of either colleges or K-12 schools. And I think, again, coming back to the philosophical standpoint is the question that maybe this boils down to is, are people concerned that just the mere presence of a firearm makes any situation more dangerous? And from my perspective, I would say absolutely not. The teachers have already been vetted to take care of children in their capacity as a teacher. And I don't believe that just putting a firearm within their grasp will suddenly make them any more dangerous for that group of students. What it will do is give an opportunity for an immediate reaction in kind should someone come and do something violent against those kids. But no, right now there have been no incidents of problems with teachers carrying concealed as for protecting students, none that I'm aware of.
I would just like to add to that too, that when concealed carry was being discussed in Wisconsin, I don't know how many times I heard the phrase, Wisconsin's going to become the wild, wild west. And I guess I would ask, what have you seen as far as Wisconsin becoming the wild, wild west? Concealed carry holders, and I believe that I have my statistics right, are 5 times less people who are going to be committing crimes. I mean, these are the kinds of people who are carrying in our state. These are good people. They don't commit crimes. Wisconsin hasn't become the wild, wild west. And I think the statement that Kevin just made is so critically important. You know, nothing changes except a response. And I think that's kind of a critical thing here.
So just to clarify, so the states who have already had and allowed this for years, nobody's aware of anything bad happening because of it?
No, I'm not aware of anything bad happening. And the one example I can give about something good happening is the school shooting in Pearl, Mississippi, where the assistant principal had to run 400 yards to his car to get his pistol to hold the shooter at bay. And at that point, like I said before, any response stops the shooter's activity. And the assistant principal didn't have to shoot school shooter. He just pointed his gun at him, and that stopped the incident.
Thank you. I do have one follow-up, and we'll get over it. Just because I need to play a little devil's advocate here, and I know that when this goes to the public, one of the big questions, and the questions that I heard from my friends when I said that I was going to be moderating this question will go to you, Laura. Are you fearful at all that the weapon being in the school creates a problem? You just kind of basically addressed that, but as a parent, as a mom, there are people out there that aren't comfortable with weapons being in the schools. They just don't want to have a staff member having one.
Thank you for bringing that up. I talked a little bit about this with Jesse. I am not uncomfortable at all because of my past experience, but I know a lot of people are. How do we address that? We address it like the mayor from Hartford addressed it. He talked to his children about the honor and respect of weapons and the honor and respect of using them respectfully. So how can you do that for a little child that our society is putting it that it's fear. We put a weapon in front of a child, they're fearful of it. Why is that the automatic response? Because that's what we're told has to be the automatic response. I had gone to a physician's appointment with my children, and the physician asked, or it might have been the nurse, asked, do your parents have weapons at home? Where are they? Are they locked in a box? Are they? And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, here we go. So, as my child's like, oh, we just used it last week, and and I'm quiet, you can't say that. So how do we combat that, first off? My husband is a fire officer in Fort Jackson. He's a volunteer fire department. And they do such a great job with stop, drop, and roll. They bring out, the fire department just rolls it all out with their, the activities they do with the kids, the posters they do with the kids. I know in Alaska, the police officers did a version of that as well. And it was stop, don't touch, and I'm forgetting the rest, I apologize, but.
Tell an adult.
Tell an adult, yep, stop, don't touch, go tell an adult. It was in conjunction with the Fire Prevention Week that they would come and we would sing that song. They rolled out posters, they did puppets even.